Start with Lanny Davis, former special counsel to President Clinton, also appointed by President George W. Bush to the Privacy and Civil Liberties Oversight Board. He's in D.C. today. Time to make a deal here, you figure? Good morning, Lanny.
Yes, I actually think the horrible tragedy in Connecticut is going to contribute to making a deal, because one thing that gets politicians out of politics is that human beings are what they're supposed to be about. And I do think that Speaker Boehner and President Obama are going to be looking much more at the big picture in America, and this avoiding the tax cliff is very, very important. You know,
I was wondering, I kind of debated in my own head whether to bring that up with you in the interview, and it's funny that you brought it up right away, because I think a lot of us have been so consumed by this or affected by it in our own way, this terrible tragedy in Connecticut, that you start to think, and we were already tired of these fiscal cliff talks even before this happened. And you start to say, all right, enough, just get this out of the way. You know, you're not solving all these problems long term no matter what, are we?
No, you know, what we're tired of is anger and vituperation and vitriol, whether it's violence in games that Hollywood should be shameful about, and which producers around the world, not just Hollywood, as well as violence that allows people to purchase firearms. The whole thing is now bubbling up and affects the fiscal cliff talks.
Right. I actually meant, I'm sorry to interrupt you on that, because those are all valid points. But what I actually meant was, you know, that we're not necessarily solving these long-term debt problems, no matter what deal we cut. I mean, there's still going to be issues. So my point was, why not just get it out of the way here and move forward? We'll see what Congressman Rangel thinks of that in just a couple minutes. But that was I was trying to get at, that, hey, you know, not everything's going to be solved anyway, so let's move on.
I agree with you, but I'm trying to suggest a larger mentality is setting in, which out of tragedy, and this horrible tragedy, it's awful to talk about other stuff, is the sense that we're tired of the incivility and the food fights. And that getting this fiscal cliff solution for the American people in the national interest, and forget about people shouting at each other, is part of this culture that I think this moment of tragedy in Connecticut may get us focused on.
Even if your side, I assume you'd be siding with the president on most of this, even if you didn't get everything you needed. I mean, is $1 trillion in revenue enough, say, and it's not 1.6 or 1.4, you just say, all right, let's cut our losses? And even if the Republicans demand all these cuts, are you willing to give in on that?
Yes, I've been in favor of Simpson Bowles as a parent and a grandparent, that it's immoral for us to allow our generations of kids to come to pay for our credit card receipts. So I'm pretty strong about why didn't Barack Obama and Mitt Romney both endorse the across-the-board approach, which is to cut spending, reform entitlements, and increase tax rates in order to do something about the $16 trillion debt? And Simpson Bowles still remains the best way for this grand bargain to take place.
All right, Lanny Davis, it's good to have you on with us, Fox News contributor out of Washington.